This is WiseBox Podcast.
Today on WiseBox Podcast, I will go over myth 1 of 5 common myths about learning a language and break them down linguistically using examples to better learn a language. Here are the 5 myths we'll look at over the next 5 podcasts. Number 1, you need to live in the target language country to become fluent. The myth here is that immersion only works by living abroad. The truth about that is that with today's online resources, you can create an immersive environment almost anywhere. Myth number 2, you must master grammar before speaking. The myth here is that grammar first, then conversation. The truth is that communication comes from practice, and speaking from day one builds confidence and natural language usage. Grammar improves along the way. Myth number 3, if you make mistakes, you're doing it wrong. This myth talks about that mistakes are embarrassing, and I must be a poor learner. The truth is that mistakes are essential and part of growing with each proficiency level. No amount of corrective feedback at the novice level, for example, can eliminate mistakes. So find a teacher who allows you to make a few errors. Myth number 4, you have to memorize thousands of words first. The myth here is that vocabulary comes before speaking. The truth is that you only need a few memorized phrases and a few hundred high-frequency words to start communicating. The rest comes naturally through language context. And myth number 5, you need to have a perfect accent to be fluent. The myth here is that fluency equals native-like speech. And that is definitely not true. Fluency means being understood by someone else, a sympathetic listener, of course, and expressing yourself with relative ease. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. That shouldn't be your goal. Now, for podcast episode number 4, myth number 1, the truth about immersion. Today's episode is all about one of the biggest misconceptions in language learning. You need to live in the target language country in order to become fluent. This is based on the myth that immersion only works if you live in the country where the language is spoken. That sounds logical, right? But here's the truth. You can create an immersive environment almost anywhere. Living in a country where your target language is spoken can offer daily exposure, but it's not a guarantee of fluency. In fact, on my travels to around 75 different countries, I've met many expats and people traveling, and they still don't speak the local language well. Why? Because they stick to their language bubble. They surround themselves with fellow expats and travelers who speak their native language all day. That's a real mistake, confusing physical location with real immersion. Let me share a personal story. This is my first experience learning a language with immersion. When I graduated from college, I joined the Peace Corps, and they sent me to Paraguay. I had never studied Spanish, and Paraguay is a bilingual country. People speak both Spanish and Guarani. So I was nervous, but I was lucky. I was able to stay with a host family and had a language teacher during 3 months of training. After training sessions, a few of my Peace Corps buddies and I would go to this local bar called Coach's and have a few beers and talk in English. It felt comforting and familiar. But then I realized we're in Paraguay, but we weren't immersing ourselves in Paraguayan daily life. Then something changed. I met a local woman in the village and started spending time with her after class, instead of hanging out in that language bubble of English only. We talk for about 2 to 3 hours a day, all in Spanish and sometimes Guarani. I told her I wanted to practice the topics I was learning in Peace Corps training. She was happy to help, and she soon became my wife. That was the first experience with something I now call guided conversation, structured and intentional practice with a native speaker. After just 3 months, I finished training with the highest Spanish proficiency score in my group of about 30 Peace Corps volunteers. That one shift I made, stepping out of the English bubble and into guided conversations, made all the difference. And it laid the foundation for an amazing 2 years as a Peace Corps volunteer and also as a Spanish speaker. Y ahora, después de 30 años, hablo español como un nativo hablante y he vivido en muchos países latinoamericanos. Now you might be thinking, well, that's great, Alex, but I don't have time to move abroad, and I don't have time to join the Peace Corps for 2 years. And that's totally valid. But here's the good news. You don't have to move abroad to immerse yourself in the language. Now, how do you create immersion at home? The good news is that modern tools make it easier than ever to build an immersive environment wherever you are. Listen and read in your target language daily, just for even 15 to 20 minutes. Use authentic materials. Now, this is really important. Go to YouTube, podcasts, news, or Netflix with subtitles. These are examples of some authentic materials. These are resources from the host nation that you can use for your language input. Don't obsess over language apps. This is what most language learners are doing. They're fine. They're a resource. They're not a panacea for language learning. Just don't rely on them alone. Number 4, take notes, pause, replay, and focus. Most important, find a native speaker for guided conversation. This is the most important task you can do in your language learning plan. Prepare a topic, ask them to help you speak, correct you at times, but not excessively, and grow your vocabulary. I'll be doing a whole podcast on how to structure guided conversations, so stay tuned. Fluency isn't just about geography. It's about engagement. It's about your engagement as a language learner. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone, even from the comfort of your own home. So here's one thing you can do today. Choose one authentic resource in the target language that you're currently learning or that you want to learn. Spend 15 minutes. Write down 5 new expressions and words. Practice them out loud. That's it. Small, consistent steps can lead to fluency. You can create immersion anywhere, anytime, from the comfort of your home. You just have to decide to live the language. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's one day. How do I make fluency more of a habit? Well, you need to create a short-term plan, sort of your language learning roadmap. Number 1, create a list of your language goals. Be clear on your motivation and don't kid yourself. And don't just be motivated to learn a language because, oh, that's cool. I'll learn another language. Sounds like a fun idea. That's not going to get you very far. Number 2, list the communicative tasks and topics that are essential for you. Personalize those. Think about ordering food, visiting a doctor, talking about work, building rapport with your friends and family in the target language. Number 3, make short lists of high-frequency words and phrases tied to those goals and tied to those communicative tasks. This is the important one. Number 4, find that native speaker for guided conversations. It's not that hard. You can go on a language exchange app. You can just go to Google and put in, find a language exchange partner. Often it can be done for free by offering to speak your native language, teach your native language, converse in your native language, and vice versa. Number 5, build a go-to list of authentic resources. Skip the grammar apps and the games for now. They're fine as a bonus, but they shouldn't be a priority. Number 6, if you want a highly trained conversation partner who can help you grow faster, reach out to me. I'm Alexander Noce, founder and linguist at WiseBox. Let's take your language learning to the next level. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode. And remember, live the language.
This is WiseBox Podcast.